Good morning, everyone. It is 11 o'clock, and we're going to get started with your 20-minute Annuity Tuesdays brought to you by BGA Insurance, wholesaler for life, annuities, long-term care, and disability. My name's Trent Zurman. I run the annuities department here. I have a background with a bachelor's in economics, a master's in finance. I'm a chartered financial consultant and a chartered life underwriter. Now, are you an advisor stuck at 100,000 in revenue and can't level up to quarter million, half million? Join my lead program. I've been seeing that everywhere on social media. Close more, close more, close more. We're going to sell you leads. We're going to get you qualified leads. You don't pay until they show up on Zoom. Um, Quite frankly, I'm not buying it. We've worked with a lot of those companies in the past, and they've just been getting progressively worse as more and more people are selling uh, leads. And they talk about how to teach you how to close and hard closing and never thank them for hopping on a call because you're doing them the service. And maybe that works for your business model. Um, Maybe I know there are people who do hard closes out there and make a lot. But I think majority of the people we work with and who are on this call have more of an advisory practice or selling something else where you're a trusted advisor in the room. And I'm not sitting here saying I am the master closer, I'm the master salesperson, and I'm going to teach you how to close these people in one call. That's not what I do. That's not what I excel at. I'm not sitting there with your clients. I'm sitting there working with advisors. And so what I'm bringing to you is how advisors work in a system and how they work with us and how I know on the back end if they're coming to me and they're doing X, Y, and Z, I know they're going to close. And if you don't know about us as a GA, we don't pay the salary model like some of these larger GAs that are going to say, no matter what production you do, you're going to make X amount. We're on a commission schedule just like you guys. So it behooves us to get business pushed through and to help you along the way and make sure business goes through fast because we don't get paid until you get paid. So that's why I want to introduce this because uh, I want you all to be able to get over that hump because it's not as much as we've had these conversations about concepts, it's not about having the encyclopedic knowledge. It's about taking a half second, be brave. Scripts and process lower the bar more than encyclopedic knowledge. You guys have all seen a bunch of these. You've learned a lot of these sales tactics that we've done and seen that are working. But some of you are still calling, asking, how do you get started? I can't really answer that question because you got to have a system and a process in place. I can help you um, building that, but you're going to be the one that needs to take the steps. So, what are some questions that our advisors are asking? The easiest one, do you have any CDs or annuities you'd like me to review? Whether you are a financial planner, whether you're in Medicare planning, or in property and casualty, or in life insurance, you can ask this question to your clients. You can even pair this with advertising the current MIGA rates and saying we can get you a rate of 6.45 simple interest tomorrow for a 5-year contract. Do you have any CDs or annuities you'd like me to review? What amount of income could you not live without? Sorry, I'm stumbling over my words a little bit, but this one works a little bit better if you're doing some sort of financial planning or Medicare planning and people are close to retirement or in retirement and you're able to talk about their portfolio. Same thing with, do you have any guaranteed income assets in your portfolio? Well, actually, one of our top producers asked this question of every one of his clients and make sure that he can introduce a personal pension style plan. How much of your portfolio can you not afford to lose? This is a great question for accumulation annuities. That if you have $1 million portfolio, you're going to take a risk on maybe 80% of that and 20% you never want to go down. Whatever that number is, you can introduce the concept of 0% floor. If I could guarantee you X% over Y years, would you be interested? This is a much harder sale. And we have advisors do this, but it's much more focused on the singular product. And Going back to that personalized pension, if I could build you a personalized pension that would pay you twice as much as your brokerage account in retirement while being guaranteed to never run out, would you be interested? That one's obviously sounding like it's scripted, but having these in your tool belt moves the needle. We work with a company that sells, accident indemnity plans and accidental death and dismemberment and small term policies. And their best producers are the one who have in their script for every single client. Would you like to add on accidental death and dismemberment for X amount of dollars? And we talk to a lot of agents who want to sell more, and we introduce them to having this script, and the fear hits first of that's a lot to take on. Well, just asking the question moves the needle tremendously. And asking that question introduces the fact that that process for the accidental death and dismemberment is just a few clicks. The process for an annuity is going to be a little bit longer, but that's why we provide you with a fact finder. And fact finders move the needle as well. That if you can ask this question and present them with a fact finder and go through this information, you're going to be prepared to make a sale, whether or not you know enough about annuities in the first place, because at the end you will present that to us and we can provide you with a plan. Work within the system. Our best advisors work within the system. They're not coming up with the wheel every time they're making a sale. And so the system that we see a lot, and this may not be your system. You may just want to stick with the MIGAs or the accumulation annuities. But the system we see a lot of success with, and also the research backs it as the way the most amount of people in retirement have success. And the most success, dying with the highest terminal portfolio left over, is having some sort of guaranteed income, some sort of time segmentation, equity growth, and a risk wrapper so they're not pulling in down years. And how can you do that? Income annuities, MIGAs or FIAs, traditional portfolio, and some sort of risk wrapper like a cash value IUL. You're licensed to do all those things. You can provide that. Maybe not the equity growth if you're not securities licensed, but you can do the other three. So work within a system and introduce that to their clients so they feel confident in what they're about to do. Walk them through what you're about to set up for them and introduce the concept early so that they can go back and feel prepared for your follow-up when you present them with the annuity products that would fit them. And set a goal. Set a goal early. The goal with these four pillars is the portfolio freedom effect. The idea that if you have guaranteed income, if you have time segmentation to make sure that that money can't go down or is guaranteed to grow when you need it and it will be there, and then you have something on the side as a risk wrapper so that if an emergency happens in a down year, you're not pulling out of your equities. Well, now your portfolio has complete freedom from your behavioral alpha, from the depletion rate of retirement, no forced selling in down years, and you can have higher equity allocation. So set the goal. You've asked your question that you've pre-scripted into every single conversation you have with your clients. You've given them a fact finder, and you've introduced the system that you work within. And if it's just MIGAs, I have a system that I protect the amount of money that you can't afford to lose and make sure it's growing at a guaranteed rate. And what's the goal? So that when you need that money, it will be there and you will have a guaranteed growth rate. You will know exactly how much money is going to be sitting in your account when you need it. Then lay me up. I get two types of emails from advisors. Hey, Trent, what's your best income annuity? I mean, all you sitting here know how much goes into an income annuity. Age, gender, state, how much you're putting in. Are you getting high band, are you getting low band? Are you going to get, how long is the deferral on this? What's the roll-up rate? What's the payout rate? So what are we talking about here? Are we talking about somebody who is 65 and needs income immediately? Or are we talking somebody who's 58 and doesn't need income until 72 because they don't plan on retiring for a while. The good producers lay me up. Trent Joe Schmo, 58, male in California, needs to guarantee $25,000 per year by age 65. He's also concerned with fees and growth and wants a name he recognizes. That last sentence is everything for me because I can give you the top producer of $25,000 per year, but it might be a company you're not familiar with. It might be a company that's private equity backed, and you might not have any death benefit left 10 years in. And maybe that's important. Maybe they're willing to uh, forego a couple $100 because they want in 12 years some death benefit left over. Or they're willing to forego a couple $100 a month because they want an income doubler. Or they're willing to forego a couple $100 a month because they want an A++ company. That's information I need so that I can help you. And as part of that, be a team player. We're your back office. We have in-house case managers. The people who work in here have advanced training like the CLUs and CHFCs and have worked for insurance carriers, sit on their boards. We want to help you. So send me the fact finder, the statements of their current policies, the situation, the details. We can figure it out and help you on the back end. You don't need to have an encyclopedic knowledge going out there because your expertise is working with clients. Our expertise is working with insurance companies. So you can go out there and present us with all the information you have, and the more the better. And we can prepare a couple options for you to present to your clients and make sure you're prepared. And if you need us to sit in, we will. We're happy to. We do it all the time. And that's at no cost to you, that you can have an expert sitting in the room. So what info do I need? Age, sex, state, income or accumulation. What are you trying to do there? And if it's accumulation, do you want guaranteed or indexed? What's the time horizon? When do they want income, or how long are they comfortable locking up the money? Any pertinent info. But what's pertinent? Are these qualified funds or not? Is it inherited? Because then we need to liquidate it over a certain amount of time. What's the client's risk tolerance? What are their goals? How does it fit within their financial plan or the services that you provide? You might not be doing financial plans. You might be selling property and casualty insurance. So where does this fit with the services you provide? Well, we're just selling them a guaranteed rate. We're offering a CD alternative. So what's the highest that we can offer? We're not pitching, ladder plans or anything like this. We're just offering the highest rate CDs. And now you're presenting to your clients. So limit the options in the paperwork. Within their goals, offer 2 to 3 solutions and bring expertise without complication. That's where we can come in if we need to. Because if you can't explain it simply, they won't understand it. And empathize. Put yourself into their shoes as to why they would choose any of these options. We have people who sell bonus products. You know my thoughts about bonus products. And they are of the opinion that you sell them 24% bonus front end, and you do a Roth conversion in the first 2 years, they're going to be so happy. They're going to stick with virtually no growth for the next 8 years. And 5 years along the line, they're unhappy with it. And we're seeing that same client come through with another advisor. You got to put yourself in their shoes. I had questions lined up here, but we'll ask this in a little bit. And with that, illustrations only prove that ink sticks to paper. Don't buy what they're selling. Don't buy into this free money. And also know that when you're presenting it to the client, if illustrations only prove that ink sticks to paper, why show them 100 different illustrations with several different variations? We can go with company A, B, C, or D, and we can put in $100,000, $200,000, $400,000, and we can actually go down to $50,000. And which one of these do you like? Put some guardrails on it. And if they ask for more variations, we can do more variations. But be prepared in the front end so we're not going for 20 illustrations and presenting them, and now they have decision paralysis because too much is presented to them. I gave this analogy last week, and I should have written down the guy's name. He's an ad executive in the UK, and he talks about these grocery stores and how they were trying to do American style supermarkets in Europe and trying to do these big walls with tons of options for their condiments. They would have 20 different versions of mayonnaise, 20 different versions of mustard, and they weren't selling, they weren't moving a thing. And so switching it to a curated set of options of three of each category, their sales monumentally increased. And when they surveyed their clients about their satisfaction, it was much higher than before. People felt more confident in their decision when the grocery store was presenting them with a curated set of options. You can do the same. You don't have to present them every single annuity out there, just the curated set that you know will work and create happy clients through that. Know about renewal rates, private equity ownership. You don't have to have all this memorized. I'm putting this down there because these are the conversations you and I should be having. So that if you're presenting a client with the top income annuity and then you're giving them two more options, you can say, here's why you would want to go with these. This one's going to pay them out the most amount. If you don't care about death benefit, this is the one to go with. But if you want a pool of money that you can pull from, if there's an emergency and you're okay reducing your income, or you want there to be some death benefit 10 years along the line, or if you want there to be an income doubler and that needs cash value, these are the things we need to look at. And if you're putting them in an accumulation annuity, these are things that you should approach them about because they might be talking to other advisors. Oh, I can get 24% guaranteed upfront. Yeah, but you're going to be paying 1% fee and you're going to have really low growth after that. I can give you something that's going to grow much better, and I can show you that this company has held their renewal rates, isn't owned by private equity, uh, and doesn't have onerous surrender charges, market value adjustments, and isn't going to be putting you in volatility controlled indexes. And what do you do after that? Annual review, annual review, annual review, because ownership can change, clients change, and so we need to be keeping track of this. If there was a mistake that happened because you put them in the wrong product, you need to be involved. And I'm getting agents who are coming to me saying, I made a mistake. I put them in a bonus product with volatility controlled indexes. I need to get them out. I need to do something now. Well, they've been doing that since 2023 when the rates jumped and it's too soon to move them. So we just have to reallocate right now and we have to manage. And so let me launch one of my questions for you. For our most successful advisors, I've introduced everything up to here of the system you're going to work within. You're going to script your questions. You're going to introduce your system. You're going to introduce your goal, and you're going to put guardrails around what you present to them. Offer a curate thing. You're going to lay me up. But where are the most advisors finding their clients that we work with? All right. Cross-selling referrals is what most people are saying. All right. I'm getting a lot of cross-selling referrals, and I can't tell you which one is number one, which one's number two, because people get their first ones through cross-selling. They get their first annuities because they were asking the question. But then new people start coming in because of referrals. So what do you need to do? All our best advisors ask early and ask often. In the first meeting, in the second meeting, in the last meeting, they're always asking, is there anyone else in your life we can help who would benefit from these services? And so let me just ask a few more questions as we go along with this. Let's go back. the ones that I was supposed to be doing. How many of you have walked away from annuity still because you didn't feel like you knew enough about annuities? I'm getting a good amount saying yes. How many of you now think you have enough to go forward and just ask the question and be able to lay us up? You know enough to get started. I mean, that probably, I'm looking at half of you have walked away. So we can definitely help you with that. I want to give you the tools to say, let's start the conversation and get the information you need so that you can come talk to people who do a lot of this and can help prepare you. You don't have to have encyclopedic knowledge. You know how to start the conversation. And now, how many of you have a process to introduce or review annuities currently? Getting a lot of no's. Again, probably half. Actually, it's teetering more than half. I get a lot of phone calls about, do you have any marketing materials? And yeah, we can find campaign in the boxes that companies set up, but that doesn't move the needle. What moves the needle is having a process. So I'm going to introduce this at the end here, that if you have a desire to do more marketing, to get more people, like I said, we worked with a lot of data companies that do this, and I haven't seen that move the needle. The one that I have seen is people building their own marketing system so that they know who the clients they're attracting are and they can tweak it and improve it. And then they work within a system like this that they are introducing. Here's what I do. Here's what I do well. Here's what I'm going to do for you. Here's the goals we have. That's the best type. If you're interested in doing that, we have partnered with companies that will help you do that. The one I send people to most often is Annuity Giants. It's really good because it's just helping you build it. And then you need to figure out the system you're working within and they can coach you along on how to do that in your marketing system and then you manage it yourself and you own those people. It's not data leads that are being sent to you. So if you have any interest in that, please feel free to reach out. If you have any interest in the fact finder, please feel free to reach out. And let's talk about next week. I know I've gone over, but we are getting a new e-app system. So you'll be able to look at quotes, illustrations, and apply all within one system here. No more paper apps. And if you don't have the correct training to sell that product, it will stop you and kick you over to the training so that you can complete that. And those trainings are usually about 5 minutes and you can submit your app. It reduces the amount of not in good order applications going in and lowers the barrier for you to apply and make sure that you go through suitability faster. I'm not going to say if you want to learn more about that because you do want to learn more about that. That's going to be next week. We're getting that online, the site. It's taken a long time for us to get up and running, but it is ready to go. So make sure you are here next week. And if there's anyone in your office who joins these or does annuities and says, I don't need to go through these trainings, they should be on next week to learn how to apply on our site. So make sure you twist their arm and get them in here. Especially if you run an office and you have people underneath you, get them here so they know how to apply online. That's all I got for you. That's been your 24 minutes. I apologize. I'll stick around for questions. I know I got a question about send out the recordings. Yes, we do send out the recordings. I always do a follow-up on these, asking if you have any questions. These are posted to our YouTube page, and then there's an email that goes out when those go live. But if you also want to subscribe to our YouTube page, you'll get an update there as well.